Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be released in a theater, so you can go
Thumbs
out.
down.
They're doing this for you, Adrian.
Whatever, dude.
It's kind of like the Green Eggs, and I don't want to watch it in the theater. I don't want to watch it in the studio. I don't want to watch it at home. I don't want to watch it at your house. I don't want to watch it anywhere. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What up? Good morning, man.
What's up, dude?
Beautiful. Well, not a beautiful day, but it's kind of overcast, a little cloudy, but it's not raining.
It's not raining.
So, and it's not like tremendously hot yet.
No, it's supposed to get there though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Today or this week?
Yes. As the weathermen say, Adrian, it's going to be a scorcher, as they say. Okay.
You know
what else is going to be a scorcher?
What? Only Comics? This episode?
Comics, this episode right here.
That's the way it works.
Now, we should warn everybody, okay, that, or let's tell everyone who we are. We are Only Comics, right? Yeah. We get together. This is where we discuss comics and only comics.
Maybe a little bit extra stuff, you know.
Sometimes. Yeah, a little bit. And I also will let everyone know that, contrary to popular belief, Adrian, we are not experts.
I agree.
You agree with that? We're only fans.
Yes. Well, you might be only fan.
No, not that. Like,
well,
there'll be no shirt cocking going on here. I promise you that. No shirt cocking. We're just fans. How about that?
Okay, I'll go with that one.
We're just fans.
Just fans.
But we get together once a week as I think a little escape from reality.
Right.
We get here, talk about made up characters, have fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Mike and Adrian having fun.
That's it. Yep. So here you are, another episode of Fun with Mike and Adrian, or Only Comics. You decide what you want to call it.
Right.
But all I know is we're going to hop into some news and rumors. Really, honestly, not a lot going on this week in the comic world. Maybe they're in a little bit of a summer lull,
It's this weather, dude.
It's
affecting everybody.
Yes. It's either that or maybe everyone's a little scared because, you got this Deadpool Wolverine movie coming out, and it's probably going to dominate the box office and the news channels and everywhere else. So DC's quiet.
Right. I was going to say DC's shaking in the boots.
Yeah, they're like, let them do their thing, and we'll come in after that.
Yeah, and do nothing continuously.
So speaking of Deadpool Wolverine, the director, Shawn Levy, I guess is his name, and I've been known to mispronounce names. Some guy was correcting me last week, like it's Liv Schreiber. I don't know. I probably still saying it wrong. Schreiber. It's Schreiber. I was saying Schreiber.
So, but I know who you're talking about.
You knew who I was talking about the whole time.
I'm assuming our fans know who we're talking about.
I would think so.
We can mix up a little words every once in a while,
Exactly. So I may be saying Shawn Levy.
Like, I was corrected about whatever the...
Oh, yeah, Omni-Man.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm probably screwing up his name now. Omni-Man, Omni-Guy. What's his name?
Omni something.
Yeah, Omni. We know he's Omni.
Yep.
So anyways, the director, we'll just call him Shawn. Okay?
There you go.
Shawn L. over here.
Shawn.
He's comparing Wolverine and Deadpool to the early MCU movies in this way, where the character stakes are more important than the stakes of the rest of the universe. So a lot of times with the MCU, we get caught up in, everything is a universe-ending, situation. Right. Thanos has the stones, and Kang is going to do this, and Loki. Everything is like top tier.
Right.
And the problem with that, we've seen like in the Fast and Furious movies, when everything is the end of the world, nothing's the end of the world, right? Because there's no stakes.
Right.
Dom is like dying, coming back to life, and jumping in the air, catching people, landing on cars, and you're like, dude, nothing's... There's no stakes anymore. So according to my man Shawn L. over here, he says that Deadpool and Wolverine character stakes are going to be way more important. So it's not going to be this, end of the universe type movie, which I'm ready for. I wish we could get back to some more of these grounded like stories. How do you feel about that?
I agree. As a matter of fact, I just watched a Warcraft, which is a game, right? But they made it into a movie.
Yep.
Some pretty, high-end names in it, right? And as the movie goes on, pretty much most of the characters that you get to know within the first hour, they kill them off, dude. It's crazy, but I think it's a pretty well done movie. But it's grounded. It's the basics. You got an alien race, the orcs. You got this guy behind the scene manipulating stuff, and he basically with magic destroys their world, so they need to survive and go to another world. Well, this magic guy, he's trying to take over Earth now, right? Yeah. Which is going to he's also going to do the same thing to that world. And then the orcs realize that there's this whole fight. But the whole point of it is that you got some aliens, but it's grounded.
Right.
Batman, grounded.
Yes.
Spider-Man, grounded. The Fast and Furious, not so much.
No.
I mean, what's going to happen next? Because the Typhoon showed up in the last one, right? X10 or whatever it was, right? So the next, I mean, to top that, somebody's got to, hijack a spaceship.
Yeah.
That's the next thing, right? Spaceships, X-21.
Well, allegedly, now I think even Vin Diesel's hearing the complaints because allegedly the next Fast and Furious is going to be a little more grounded. Now, which I'm all for. I'm really confused at how they're going to take it back there since the last movie they ended like on the bridge where it was kind of a weird ending, honestly. But I'm getting off track. That's the other stuff, by the way. But Deadpool and Wolverine, enough of that. Grounded character stakes are going to be more important. I'm all for this.
Sure.
And I mean, I think we kind of get that feel from the trailer a little bit, right? You got Wade, who's kind of retired, and then for some reason, and we're about 2.5 weeks out from this movie. I saw someone in the comments was like, they spoiled too much in the trailer. I do not feel that way with this movie.
Right.
I feel like we saw about 5 minutes of action that they just keep re-showing us.
Right.
They got to show you something. You know, we're past those days where you can't just drop a movie with no trailer. Although, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe Hollywood should do that. We've seen it in music. You know, artists come out, no announcement, and all of a sudden they drop an album, does well. So there you go, MCU. Maybe you should try that.
Well, but that means that that marketing machine has to be, so they need to take lessons from the music industry about dropping stuff at the last minute. Hey, drop World of Warcraft or, Wolverine versus whatever.
Right.
Go watch it and then see. That would be interesting.
Could you imagine, dude, if like next Friday, all of a sudden you start seeing on social media, Avengers 5 just dropped. And we had no notice.
Dude, it would be a frenzy. It'd be like watching a school of piranha eat some meat or something, dude. I mean, I think it'd be great. It
would be, as they used to say, pandemonium.
Exactly.
Could be something like that,
You know what? We also need to start with the hidden gem. Well, we don't need to start, but I'm just saying, using actual words.
Yeah.
Words that make sense instead of these. Anyway, that's the other stuff.
Right.
Enough of that.
But I mean, hey, there's a marketing pitch for you guys, MCU, and we just help them out, dude. And now I see you have a coffee cup there, Adrian.
Yep.
I'm gonna take a wild guess.
Yeah.
You had to make this coffee yourself again.
I did.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. But anyways, Deadpool, Wolverine, I'm excited for it. About 2.5 weeks out. Character stakes were going to be more important. I'm with it. Next up, Eminem. Eminem's in the comic news this week, Adrian.
Oh, boy.
So he dropped a song called Toby. I don't know if you've heard this yet.
I have not.
Okay. And the reason, and this really doesn't have a whole lot to do with comics, except for Eminem's an avid comic fan. He's talked about it in his songs before. He actually did a song for the movie Venom, which, I mean, you could probably say was better than the movie, the song.
That wouldn't be a stretch.
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised, right? So he dropped a song called Toby. Song's not bad. Came out July 2nd. Now, but there's a line in this song and unfortunately, it's what the whole concept of the song is based on. And I think it's one of the cringiest things I've heard in my life, Adrian. So the line goes like this. Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider, but see, me, it was a goat.
I hear the words, but what does that mean?
So GOAT, greatest of all time. Right. So he's trying to say, Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider, became Spider-Man. And with me, it was a goat. So he got bit by a goat and became a goat.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, most music is nonsense.
Right.
So
it's pretty bad though. Like on a scale from 1 to 10. I mean, now Eminem's, phenomenal, top one of the top, probably greatest rappers of all time. But for every amazing line and song, you got to have a couple, duds, I guess.
Isn't this? I saw somewhere some story about the guy behind the Eminem persona that made like Peace or some guy just wrote all his music and whatever. But so yeah, he needed something to rap with. I mean, to rhyme with. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Yeah.
Don't know much about the guy or the music. I wouldn't have even deep dived into that song to even have heard that.
Right.
But
so you heard it here first on Only Comics.
There you go.
So it was interesting. Now, I think it's great that he's a big comic fan. He's done some work with Marvel in the past, but that one, it's kind of like, it's a catch-22. Like, I'm glad you're shouting out Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man, pretty cool, but that's the ultimate, like, dad joke, but a bad one. As a dad, I can judge dad jokes, so.
Okay.
Moving on. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Dude, when you drove in this morning, did you have any idea that Zack Snyder's Justice League would be in the news again?
No, I never even thought about Jack Snyder.
Jack Snyder or Zack Snyder, one and two.
Zach, whatever.
Yeah, one of them. The Snyders. So
Snyder brothers.
The reason it's in the news, dude, this is I don't know the reason for this, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be released in the theaters sometime soon. So you know this movie that takes 2.5 days to watch at home?
Wait a minute. The dark one, the regular one, or the black and white one?
Oh, that's a good question.
Are we still talking about those movies that they're going to re-release again?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
So I figured, Adrian, I would bring all of our viewers and listeners up to speed with a little breakdown of history, okay? So this is how we ended up with the Snyder Cut in the first place. You had 2013, Man of Steel was released. Snyder directed that. That was the beginning of this kind of Snyderverse, right? 2016, Batman vs. Superman's released. This movie's critiqued for being too dark and slow and having no humor. I would say it's a fair assessment,
Sure.
right? So that sounds pretty accurate. 2016, Suicide Squad drops and production on the Justice League movie. So Justice League was supposed to be a trilogy, by the way. Thank God we only got one.
Right.
Batman vs. Superman bombs. WB starts to kind of rethink the whole Justice League strategy. In 2017, WB sees, they get to see a few rough cuts of this movie, and they were not impressed. They said the plot was too complicated. Now, at that point, they decide to bring in Joss Whedon, who directed the first two Avengers movies.
Right.
One was amazing, two was okay, right? They asked him, this kind of messed up, they asked him to rewrite the script, and then Zack Snyder would shoot Joss's rewrite. So it's like, we gave you a chance to do this movie. We don't really like what you're doing. We're going to bring this other guy to rewrite it, but we want you to direct it still. That's what was going on. Unfortunately, the WB CEO also made a little mandate that the movie couldn't be over 2 hours long, so the 2-hour time limit, which seems, I mean, I know we kind of critique some of these movies for being long, but dude, a Justice League movie with a 2-hour cap, probably not enough time. At first, Zack Snyder was cool. Then he started to push back a little bit. March of 2017, unfortunately, he lost his a daughter of his, a young daughter, to suicide. And around that time, he left the movie. So he departed Justice League. Joss Whedon finished the movie. And then November of 17, that Joss Whedon version was released in theaters. This movie lost like $60 million, got horrible reviews. I've never seen the entire original Justice League. Have you?
I don't know which version it is even.
The shorter one.
I can't remember, dude.
Got it. That was the one that was released in theaters and whatnot. So I've seen bits and pieces of it, and the like when that movie got released, it did so bad that this whole release of Snyder Cut thing started online. Because I guess the fans kind of knew Snyder had his version. You know, so unfortunate what happened with his daughter. He leaves, and now Joss Whedon takes his version, takes a big-ass shit on it, and then puts it out, pretty much, in a nutshell. In 2019, Zack Snyder's talking about online. He mentions the cut he has on his hard drive, and, you know, that gets the fans all excited again. In February 2020, WB finally acknowledges the Snyderverse because of the response it got online. They reach out to Snyder. They go to his house, and you'll love this. They go watch a black and white version of the movie at his house, and it impressed them enough to proceed. They then gave him $70 million for reshoots. A year later, 2021, Zack Snyder's Justice League is released on HBO Max and ends up being the 4th most streamed movie of the year on Max. That's a lot. Couple things I think are funny. Number one, he chose to show the WB execs the black and white version of all versions, really. The other thing, though, the first movie bombed. That budget was like around $300 million. Then they gave Zack another $70 million for these reshoots. And after all that, dude, it was the 4th most watched. Wouldn't you want this movie to be number one after $370 million?
Right. Why was this movie so important to make? They could have made all kinds of other content. Yeah. Why was this movie so important for them to make that they went through the original director left, another guy picked it up, and then he left, and then the original guy came back, made something, then made a black and white version of it, then made a dark, slow version of it. I mean, what was so important about the Justice League that needed to get out?
Yeah. It wasn't that good. Both versions weren't good.
Right. I mean, not grounded.
No. Boring.
It's just why I don't get it, dude.
And it's like you had the Joss Whedon version, which was a shitty movie. Then you had the Zack Snyder version, which was a better looking version of a shitty movie.
Right.
Like the overall plot, it's not a good movie. And all he did was add slow. I'm saying all, but it felt like he just took the same movie, slowed it down, and made it look cooler. It's like dressing up a pile of shit.
Right.
I mean, it's still a pile of shit, right? No matter how you look at it. So I don't understand why. Like, dude, DC, put out new movies.
Right.
You didn't want this movie in the first place. You got rid of him. Then you gave him the money to redo it because he's crying about it online for two. I mean, that's how I looked at it, right? Like, all these fans are crying. Let's shut the fans up. Give them $70 million because to them, $70 million's like, me buying you a cup of coffee.
Right.
And that's what we got after all that time and effort. Imagine that. You put all this money into it, and on your own platform, it's number 4. I would hope that after $370 million, everybody's going to watch this shit. Now they're going to drop it in the theater for some reason. I will not be going to see it. How about you?
I will not be going to see it, just like I will not be going to see Avatar again. The second one was bad.
I still haven't seen it.
Reshot. I mean, reintroduced that to the theaters as well, right? Weirdness.
Oh, the first one. Yeah, they release it every 3 weeks to, beat Endgame.
Right. But the thing about it is that it's kind of like a peek behind the curtains of Hollywood production, not just comics. I'm assuming this happens with all movies.
Yep.
Or most movies, or at the very least it's common in the movie industry where there's all this politicking and infighting behind the scenes. And it's just, I mean, because, social media and people want to see CFs, they're releasing this information more often now. So I'm assuming that this has been happening since the beginning,
right?
Where all this stuff happens, and hey, I like you and I don't like you, so I'm gonna have you come in versus this, and because we just talked about this with the Deadpool movies last week.
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds got involved. He had all these different had a version and so on and so forth, and that's crazy, dude. Yeah, that's crazy.
A lot of politics, dude. I guess sometimes as fans we forget, like, it's a business.
It's a business.
It's not just for our entertainment.
Right.
If it was, we'd have a great movie every 2 months, and everyone, we'd have the great directors keep making the great movies, but there's too many backstage politics. Right. Oh, this one wants he doesn't want him to direct. They got issues, and then who suffers, Adrian? The fans. The fans.
And then they start bringing in all these old heads.
Yes.
That I mean,
what you call them, the Crypt Keepers.
The Crypt Keepers, and again, you got a pool of actors and actresses.
Right.
Pull from that. Give them a 10-year run, and Harrison Ford's and come on, dude. I mean, he's had his time. He's had great movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Star Wars.
Yep.
The Jungle Dude.
Yep.
Indiana Jones. I mean, those two things alone are iconic enough for him to just ride off or fly off into the sunset, land on wrong runways and stuff. But let the younger actors and actresses come up.
Right. Speaking of suffering, Madam Web's also in the news, Adrian. So you like that segue?
I'm suffering right now already.
So Emma Roberts, she played Peter Parker's mother in this. She kind of had a cameo. Remember, she was pregnant. They had like the baby shower or whatever.
Yep.
And then the big moment. We're gonna release the child's name, and she's about to say Peter, and we cut to another scene because we can't say anything about Spider-Man because it's another fucking Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man.
Right.
But besides the point. That doesn't bother me at all.
I see you sweating over there already, just talking about it.
So Emma Roberts, she was. They were interviewing. I don't know. Like, first of all, why are they interviewing Emma Roberts?
Exactly. Why is that? Why is this even important?
Might as well interview me or you.
Right?
Shit.
Interview Dunkin' Donuts, and why they not giving us coffee? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. So she has some things to say about Madam Web, and I have a feeling that you're not going to like these.
Of course.
So she's kind of like things work, things don't work. Everyone likes to act like they can predict if they're going to work or they're not, and the truth is you can't. Things do badly, and then they blow up on TikTok and blah blah blah. I think she's talking about us. But this is the funny part. She says, I personally really loved Madam Web. Okay. I really enjoyed the movie, and I thought everyone in it was great. The director did an amazing job, blah, blah, blah. Here's the important part. If it wasn't for internet culture and everything being made into a joke, I think that the reception would be different. Now, how about this? If the movie didn't fucking suck, the reception would be different. I think that's a more accurate statement. Well, how about you, Adrian?
I agree.
Yeah. What the fuck is she talking about?
Why is she talking at all?
Exactly.
Well, we know why she's talking, because that was probably her last movie. She needs to be put out there so she can do her, make a living. I understand that.
Sure.
But, keep your responses in context with your life.
Yeah.
Not about something that you have no idea what's going on.
But like you're blaming the internet for the bad movie. Dude, the movie sucked.
Right.
Is the internet the reason why it got 11% on Rotten Tomatoes? Is the internet's fault? Those are actual critics. Those aren't us.
Right.
Metacritic, 26 out of 100 they gave it.
Wow.
So two other, it's not the TikToks in the internet. I feel like taking a shot at us because we've talked about Madam Web on TikTok, but
whatever.
Yeah, it's
so just like they didn't say Peter, they're not saying only comments.
No, of course not.
Hey,
they called us the internet culture and TikTok. But dude, what a like punk ass way. Like, how about just you know what? I signed up for a movie. I shouldn't have. The movie sucked. Or maybe it's her opinion. Maybe she does really like this movie. But don't blame the internet culture for the response. Dude, the response was warranted because the movie was bad.
Right. Or just, hey, you made a movie. It's part of your repertoire, right? Mm-hmm. You move on.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit and stay. The only reason that you're talking about something in your past is because you want to stay relevant today.
Correct.
Everybody's talking about this thing. So, hey, I was there. So here's my piece. Who cares?
I see Green Lantern on your shirt, right?
Yep.
Ryan Reynolds was in Green Lantern.
Yep.
It was atrocious, right?
Absolutely.
Did he go and complain and say, the internet culture, no. Mm-hmm. He's like, the movie sucked.
Right.
And then he went on to make Deadpool. And then he was self-aware enough to go back in the Deadpool 2 post-credit scenes and kill off that Ryan Reynolds. Because he knew it was bad.
Right.
It is like... He didn't try to turn it into what was the internet's fault. It was a shitty movie, dude.
Well, I mean, to be fair, most people don't have Ryan Reynolds, pull in the movie industry.
True.
So, the ability to do that. So this is, I guess, her version of a Ryan Reynolds response.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
So anyway, moving on.
Not newsworthy.
No. Next up, or last up, Deadpool and Wolverine director Shawn Levy. He confirms that he had turned down the opportunity to direct The Flash. Ain't that some shit? So they offered him The Flash, and he's like, no, fuck that. That movie sucks. And what happened? Mm-hmm. They put out the movie. Your boy Andy Muschietti directed it, and it did suck. So this gives me, this is my weird way of looking at this, Adrian. It gives me, not that I was doubting that Deadpool and Wolverine was going to be a great movie, but it kind of makes me even more excited for that movie because he knew that Flash movie sucked and he wanted to stay far away from that. So there's an interesting piece of news there.
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up right behind the Madam Web comment because people think I think the comment was something, and I'm paraphrasing. Her comment was something along the lines of, people think that they know what's going to be good. Mm-hmm. Well, the movie industry has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
This whole, the marketing is a machine. Of course, you know what's going to happen.
Right.
At the very least, whether it's going to be lukewarm, really bad, good. You're not always going to have like an Independence Day release weekend,
right?
Or things like that. These blockbusters they call them. But I mean, the machine has been around long enough for people to know what the general reaction is going to be. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're isolated, if you don't know about comics, then you make your own version of something, and then it's crap. And then you start crying about, well, nobody knew what was going on. We knew.
Right.
You just got paid to put out some shit, and here we go. So, when you so you can't say that we don't know or nobody knows. Of course you know. And
right.
it's not the consumer's fault that you made a shitty movie. And it's definitely not our fault that, you don't have any future scripts.
Right.
So you got to stay relevant.
Yeah, can't blame us for making a shitty movie. We didn't make it. I would have told you not to. I would have been like Shawn Levy, like, dude, put that Flash script, put it in the trash with the Green Lantern one.
So who else was not part of the Flash movie?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
He turned it down.
Nodded out, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
I
What a
wonder how many
shocker.
other people nodded out of that movie,
Yeah.
but we just don't know about it.
yeah.
You know, that'd be interesting.
See, that's news. Instead of asking, Emma Roberts what she thinks about Madam Web, let us know who turned down the Flash so we could like just jump on their bandwagon. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I like. I don't even know Shawn Levy. I like him a lot more now just knowing this. You know, just like Christian Bale. I'm still not willing to excuse the bat voice, Adrian. But I like him even more knowing he saw the script to The Flash and was like, no, dude, I don't want to be associated with that shit. Wow. Smart guy. So maybe, so Emma Roberts, to your point, Adrian, some people do know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
You're just not one of them. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's all right. Well, we like to wrap up comic news and rumors with a little thumbs up, thumbs down. So you ready, Adrian?
Ready.
All right. Number one, Deadpool Wolverine Director compare the movie to early MCU movies where the character stakes are more important than the universe stakes. I'm giving this a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Eminem drops a Tobey Maguire inspired song with the lyric, Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider, but see me, it was a goat. I'm going to give that lyric a thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Moving on.
Zack Snyder's Justice League is going to be released in a theater, so you can go
Thumbs
out.
down.
They're doing this for you, Adrian.
Whatever, dude.
Thumbs down. No,
Exactly.
I don't want to watch it at home. It's kind of like the Green Eggs, and I don't want to watch it in the theater. I don't want to watch it in the studio. I don't want to watch it at home. I don't want to watch it at your house. I don't want to watch it anywhere.
Right.
So, for some reason, it's being released. Thumbs down.
Wow.
Emma Roberts says internet culture is the reason for Madam Web's negative response. Thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Deadpool Wolverine director Shawn Levy confirms that he turned down the Flash movie. He had an opportunity to direct that shit show and said, hell no, giving that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, but I'm curious as to like who's digging up this information.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that job title that you go? I'm assuming it's reporter, some level of.
Yeah,
reporter.
no, they asked him, but how did they even how did this even come up?
Right.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
But good decision. I guess what that says to me is that he makes good decisions.
Right.
So let's see if that that trend follows with Deadpool Wolverine.
Right.
You know. Anyways, all right. I have a fun little news segment. This may be a one-off, Adrian. Mm-hmm. You've heard the phrase "third time's a charm," right?
Yeah.
So Deadpool and Wolverine is technically the third Deadpool movie, right? So will third time be a charm? Will this be the highest or the best movie of the Deadpool trilogy? My gut, my prediction leans towards yes. Okay.
Well, I mean, we're on Fast and Furious number 37. I don't know. I'm starting to question that little saying there.
Well, I figured that we can test that phrase right here. So I got 10 movies that have reached at least 3 movies, right? So 10 trilogies, and I'm gonna name the third movie for you, and you can let me know if that third time was a charm or not. Okay. So basically, and what that means is, was the third movie better than the first 2 movies in the trilogy, which doesn't always happen.
Now, better than or at least equal to?
Better than.
Better than.
Yeah, this is better than.
Okay.
So, all right, number 1, Iron Man 3. Is it better than 1 and 2?
No.
No, I agree with that. Captain America Civil War. Was that better than 1 and 2?
Yes.
Yes. Avengers Infinity War.
Yes.
Yep. Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok.
Better than 1 and 2.
Ragnarok. Oh, I'm thinking Love and Thunder.
Oh, no.
Yes.
God, no.
Yes.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes.
Logan.
Yes.
X-Men The Last Stand.
No.
You didn't even hesitate on that one. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's tough.
I'll go with yeah. It was definitely more expansive.
Yeah.
It was a lot going on.
Yeah.
So yes.
I think it was higher stakes too, more emotional.
Sure.
Yeah. And because with Guardians, it's obviously better than the second one, but it's the first one because the first one was really good.
Right. Well, the first one is also like we talked about this last week. You got that first introduction to something, and it changes in your mind how you view certain types of movies, and then now your expectation is something else all completely different.
Right. X-Men Apocalypse.
No. Well, all those movies were shit. So
Days of Future Past.
I mean, not all of them,
one.
but it's no.
And then last but not least, Blade Trinity.
No.
So, dude, it sounds like third time's not usually a charm. No. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I don't know, 6 out of the 10. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like there's a lot of no's towards the end.
Right.
So 6 out of 10, so a little over half of the time, third time is a charm.
Right.
So we'll find out. Now, I know you're not usually big on a prediction, but would you predict that Deadpool and Wolverine would be better than Deadpool 1 and 2? I'm going to say yes.
Predict. Prediction is part hope. So I would hope that it is. So I'll say yes.
Okay. All right. There you go. Well, next up, Adrian, we have Hidden Gem.
Hey, let's not do a third time Avatar.
Oh yeah. Well,
let's not do that. Well, I mean, besides the fact that by the time the next one comes out, nobody will remember any of them anyway.
Yeah, you shouldn't wait 10 years between sequels, dude. But
was it only 10? I felt like longer than that.
Man, like 20, man. I don't know. But dude, allegedly, I hate to break this to you, but suppose James, what's his name? James Cameron. He's got like 4 or 5 sequels planned. Dude, he's got this story that's gonna like last for the rest of his life and his grandkids. So.
Hey, that's how you build family wealth, I guess,
Yep. And then if it does bad, you can just blame us.
Exactly.
Right. So we'll find. I guess we'll find out if third time's a charm for Avatar. I'm going to probably say no on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Hidden Gem, Adrian. You got one this week that I've never even heard of. So I'm going to be sitting under the Adrian's learning tree. We also could call Hidden Gem Adrian's learning tree. That's I like that. So it's like fun with Mike and Adrian.
Yeah,
it's a nickname. There you go. So, anyways, what do we got going on this week?
All right. So this week, Miss Marvel. I'm coming right out the gate with it. Right. So Miss Marvel, not Miss Marvel, Miss Martian.
Martian. Okay.
Wow. Anyway. So
we'll cut that out of it.
We'll cut out. Yeah. So Miss Martian. Miss Martian is the younger version of John, the Martian Manhunter. The Martian Manhunter is part of the Justice League. Miss Martian is part of the Teen Titans. Okay. So now the Martian Manhunter, John Johns, and Miss Martian has kind of like a Superman background, right?
Yeah.
So the Martian race, eons old or thousands of years, not eons, but that was anyway. They're an old race, and from Mars, obviously. And there was a war, so there was 2 versions. Like you had the green, the black, and then you had the white, right? So the green was like a peace-loving kind of race of Martians, and the white were savage, warlike, right? And they basically, the white engaged war on the green, and they started wiping them out. And so here's the Superman part. So their parents sent John away and sent Miss Martian away. 2 separate events. And eventually John landed on Earth. Miss Martian found out that John was on Earth, so she came to Earth too. Okay. So, I mean, but a little backstory on the green and white Martians. So apparently, the white Martians, another reason why they went to war was because with the green was because the white Martians came to Earth. They found the Earth, did some experiments on the pre-humans, right? And the reason that this is important in that universe. So the humans were on track. They discovered this mutant gene, right? The humans were on track to be like Kryptonians. Okay. They had the whole race would end up having all these powers, even equal to or exceeding the Martians' powers, which I'll get into later. So they did some gene manipulation to stunt the evolutionary growth of humans, so that they don't evolve into these basically super beings, which was another reason.
This was the white Martians that did this?
The white Martians.
Always got to be the white ones, dude. Give us a bad name over here. Jesus.
So they did that, which was another point of contention between the white and the green.
Yep.
Right. So, Miss Martian and her parents, they actually came to Earth. The parents were all captured by the government. The government, the aliens. So let's just experiment, and when we can't experiment, we kill them. Which is what happened to her parents. Miss Martian, she escaped, and so she found her way to the Teen Titans, so on and so forth. There was like an introduction to that didn't last very long. She was because she's a telepath, and she's considered young compared to like John's. He's like a couple thousand years old, so she's considered a young Martian. So she's like a teenager, right?
Yeah.
So. She had this interaction with some of the then Titans. They were mean to her, so she left and went off to Australia to kind of like, she liked the desert because it reminded her of the Martian landscape, things like that. But eventually she came back into the fold, and then they had their adventures. But the reason I brought up the Superman-like reference is because, one, it's like, this is an underrated Martian the Manhunter and Miss Martian, they're like underrated in the DC universe because at the very least, their powers are similar to or on par with Superman himself, right? Okay. So Superman has said that of the entities that he's afraid to get in a fight with, which he can count on one hand, as he says, John's is one of those.
Okay.
He's been, even by John Stewart, the Black Green Lantern, said that John is one of the most powerful entities on the planet, right? So,
and John's Marvin the Manhunter.
The Martian Manhunter. Okay. Right? So he's the male version of Miss Martian.
Got it.
And so their power set is this. Their strength is probably a little less than Superman's. Okay. But they got flight, they got stamina, they got the durability, they got all the eye stuff, so the X-ray vision, the telescopic vision, the macro vision. They got the invulnerability. They're long-lived, obviously. John's, like I said, a couple thousand years old. But they also have telekinesis, telepathy. Okay. They can shapeshift. They can change their body to any size, right, or shape. They can elongate themselves.
Which he does in the Justice League movie.
Yes.
That movie's so damn long. They've had like every DC character. But yeah, I do remember him showing up, and he disguised himself as a few different people, and you don't find out it's him until the end.
Right. He is typically, so he is not the hidden gem today, but
same power set.
Same power set.
So she can do the same thing.
He's more matured and probably more powerful than she is.
Got it.
But the basic Martian physiology allows them to do all of this stuff. So why is it that they aren't more prominent, in the in the DC universe, over Superman, right? So because again, he has all of their powers. I mean, they have all of Superman's powers plus all this other stuff. They can phase through solid objects, right? So they can possess people, take over their minds. So they have a lot of capability. They're almost like a Superman and Jean Grey smashed into one, right? Which actually makes them like overpowered a little bit. But the fact that they are not highlighted more than they are is a travesty, in the comics. So Miss Marvel, she's basically, like I said, like a teenager. She goes Miss Martian. Why I keep saying Miss Marvel? Anyway,
I don't want our viewers to critique you, Adrian. They you said this wrong. So I got you, bro.
Well, I'm probably saying a lot of shit wrong, but whatever.
What'd you say a few weeks ago? You should probably fact check most of the shit we say.
Right. That whole history, whatever. So anyway. But the point of it is that they had so they're basically refugees from a planet, from a war between the two races, and they ended up on Earth with their powers. They are severely underrated, and their powers are amazing. I mean, John's turning into dragons, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So they Miss Martian has all of these capabilities. But she's, again, still a teenager. So John is going to continue to grow, and then she's going to be at least what he is at some point in the future. Got it. So, I think severely underrated. She has all these, her love interests, I think, at least in the animated version, was Superboy, right? Okay. The clone.
Yeah.
They actually got married, so on and so forth. So that was pretty interesting. But I think a very interesting character. I think her power set has not been fully developed on screen at all, even in the animated versions, right? Yeah, but I would really like to see more of this character. I would really like to see more of John also. And John, he is like a black detective on Earth. That's his main disguise. Okay. Right? So he actually transforms into like she does. She turns into like a girl, I think Morgan. She turns into a girl that goes to high school. He turns into a black detective for whatever reason. Yeah. So it's interesting, their power sets. But it's also interesting that someone like Superman is like, dude, of like the few people that I would be afraid to fight, John is one of them, right? Wow. Now, what's their major crux? So the genetic manipulation, right? So way why they're afraid of fire, right? So before, way back in time, let's say their creators, right? They genetically altered them so that because they used to reproduce by fire. Yeah. Right? So they had an asexual reproduction process. So what happened was they were genetically altered to not be able to use not only use fire to reproduce, but they were genetically instilled with the fear of fire. That's why John goes like apeshit whenever he sees like a big lighter or something. So that is probably their only like their version of a kryptonite, fire. You know, campfire, matchstick, whatever. But their other, I'm assuming that at some point they have compensated for that. I mean, you can't always, if you know your thing is fire, right? Make a suit or something. Yeah. You know, that makes you invulnerable.
Or like carry around a bottle of water or something. You know what I mean? You mean to tell me
kind of hard to do in space,
you got all this badass power set, but Human Torch, swings on by and you're done?
Right,
like,
right.
Is it that bad?
Have Bruce make you some kind of costume that makes you immune to
something.
Or be like Magneto, right? He's got the full-time magnetic condom, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he can like make a spacesuit that makes him invulnerable to fire all the time or something.
Dude, we're just solving all of the world's problems here once a week. With ease, right? Just like you didn't plan. Now you're just like solution.
There you go.
Like that. I mean, like, why don't we just destroy all the kryptonite? So then, it does. Like, what's the use for kryptonite? Outside of fucking with Superman,
none.
So actually, why don't Superman just go destroy it all? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there,
But it is a power source for at least that one character that carries it around in his chest. Okay. I forget his name, but it's the Metallo. Okay. Metallo uses kryptonite as a green kryptonite as a power source. So at the very least, I'm assuming it's a power source for other things as well.
Okay. Well, we can kill off one character, to save another. Why not?
I mean, but if you take away kryptonite, come on. I mean, yeah. I mean, you got to have something for Superman.
Then Superman would be on Homelander's level.
I think Superman needs some more psychological damaging to be on Homelander's level.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I'm rewatching The Boys. Like I'm on season 3 right now, and man, this show is amazing and fucked up all in the same. Like it's just great, dude. I mean, there's nothing else like it. So, anyways, but dude, so Ms. Martian,
Ms. Martian,
and I don't think she's never been on live action, right? Any movies that I don't
think so.
I mean, Manhunter's only been in like a cameo in the Justice League movie,
right?
But just goes to show you, dude. Like you've said this a bunch. We rehash the same characters over and over again, but dude, the roster is so deep.
It is, dude.
Like that'd be a cool little show to focus on these two that build up to the movie. Mm-hmm. Instead, they want to release the Snyder Cut again. Right? It's like, God, we've had enough. But interesting character. Now, even with, she's on the Titans. I was going to say, even with her, the 7 would still destroy the Justice League.
Fire is fire.
Yeah, fire is fire, dude. Nice. Love it. All right, hidden gem. If you like that hidden gem, check back some of our past hidden gems. We've had some great ones. We've had Gotham City was a hidden gem a while back. Superman's even been a hidden gem.
Yep.
Up next, Adrian, hit or miss cast. So I got 5 castings, and I will tell you that this week there's really no theme to these. I just kind of randomly picked some. So
hey, that works too.
And this is very we like to keep it simple here too. So hit or miss cast. I'm just gonna throw out 5 casting choices from past comic movies, and Adrian's just going to tell me, in his opinion, if it's a hit or a miss. So you can't go, well, he's wrong. Well, it's his opinion, so you can't be wrong about your own opinion. You could disagree. That's a whole nother thing.
Well, I can also change my mind.
You can change too. Yeah, you could say someone was a hit today that was a miss a week ago. You know, maybe you rewatched the movie and you liked it more. So, anyways, I got 5 here, and I think you're gonna be pretty split across the board. So, you ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1, Jared Leto as Joker.
I actually liked him as
Did you really?
Joker. Yeah, I did. I did. I would rather see him than Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker.
Okay.
It just, I don't know, it just made sense to me.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I literally almost threw up when I saw him.
I can understand.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Now, just because now I'm curious, what about the character? What about Jared Leto's portrayal did you like?
He had to me he had the look. The look was more familiar.
Okay.
Everybody has their flair on it. I think he tried to pull a little bit from obviously from previous Jokers.
Yeah.
He was not the Jack Nicholson Joker.
No.
He was not the Heath Ledger Joker.
Right.
I think he kind of came into his own. I also believe that if he had been the Joker after that, in other words, some of these characters come out and you don't like them initially, but I think if he would have been given a chance, like what's his face with Iron Man War Machine.
Oh yeah,
Terrence Howard. He would have been a better on-screen personality.
Okay.
So the reason I'm saying he was okay at it was because I didn't think he was bad.
Okay.
Not that he was good at it.
Yeah.
But I didn't sit there and be like, oh, he's a bad Joker.
Got it.
So that's why.
No, yeah, you didn't. That's what I said. I was looking at it like, oh my god. I couldn't get past the tattoos and making him like this pimp gangster. But I think his Joker voice was good. I didn't like the grill.
Right.
But I do like. Now, when you say look, are you talking about the makeup and how he looked? Yes, right. I did like that.
And also, Joker's a thin character.
Yes.
So
he had the build
which
down.
Joaquin is not. Well, he is. I mean. Okay, so you have thin, and then you have like that sunken in look, which is what Joaquin has. So,
right.
So to me, he was naturally lean. To play the part.
Yeah. No, I think he definitely he had the build down, and then now I guess in the reshoots to Zack Snyder's Justice League, you had that end scene where Joker, he didn't have the tattoos, he had the longer hair. They were like in the desert or whatever, and I did kind of like that. So I think part of what happened with Jared Leto was the writing.
Sure,
he was in a pretty bad fucking movie playing Joker, unfortunately, which seems to be the theme sometimes,
Right.
Next up, Dakota Johnson as Madam Web.
I won't call it a miscast. I would call that again bad writing because the whole movie was just bad writing.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm not gonna shit on her for her portrayal.
Okay.
Because she was not what's her face in Captain Marvel. She looked like she could play the part, whereas what's her face that played Captain Marvel looked like Brie Larson. She looks like she didn't want to be in a movie. Right, her eyes. She just looked like she did not want to be there. So it's weird and it's kind of hard to explain. But and also we've never had a Madam Web before, so we don't know what the portrayal is going. Especially a younger version. Again, the only Madam Web I knew was the blind, the old lady in the wheelchair,
which she kind of becomes
at the end. But still, I've never seen a younger version of Madam Web. So I mean,
so you're saying Dakota Johnson.
Her personality is cool. I think the writing was bad, so I say a hit.
Hit, okay. I think another big issue. Now the movie was bad, but also the marketing was confusing because they made you think like it was
like an action
Madam
movie or
Web,
something.
like it was, and you were going to see the Spider Women and all this stuff, and it's really just an origin story,
for
all of them. We don't even see him in a costume in anything except for like some premonition.
Have you seen the other web slingers in anything, in any comic, in any movie? The other girls. Have you seen those versions in anything?
No, they all were like
variants.
Yeah, variant of another version. So I've seen those costumes before.
Okay.
In comics.
Okay.
But they made you think like the movie was going to be based around these superheroes.
Right.
And it was not. We just saw it in the guy's vision. That was it.
It was like a pre-origin of Peter Parker.
Sure. Like, if they would have promoted it as an origin, I mean, it still would have been a bad movie, right. But at least we would have known what to expect.
Yeah.
You know? So
whatever.
Next one, James Franco as Harry Osborn.
Hit.
Yeah. Batista as Drax.
Hit.
Aaron Taylor Johnson as Quicksilver.
I'll say hit only because I didn't think about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll say a hit because it's not a miss.
Got it. Yeah. There you go. Well, hit across the board this week, dude. 5 hits. Now the Quicksilver. There's been 2 live action Quicksilvers.
Right.
You had Aaron Taylor Johnson in Age of Ultron, which they killed him off in that. Which, I guess they have to always give Wanda heartbreak, right? Like they killed her brother, then they made her marry Vision. They had this good relationship, then they kill him off,
right? And then you wonder why she goes rogue.
Exactly.
Right? Come on.
I mean, they killed him off twice, right? First Thanos pulled the shit out of. No, first she had to kill him.
Yep.
Then Thanos rewinded time and then snapped like his freaking stone. Like, dude, that was savage.
It's like, Wanda, your heartbreak is not enough. Let me just watch this. Watch this.
Right.
Pink.
Then they take his body in WandaVision and make another vision, and like they had them all apart on the table, and she, like it was they really screwed her over. So anyway, but yeah, then you had the other version from the X-Men movies. Evan Peters, I think his name is. Mm-hmm. He was the younger one, the kind of funny one.
Right.
I like that version more. But I guess the downfall there is we didn't get to see him interact with Wanda at all. They didn't even really mention a sister.
Right.
I think he maybe has a younger sister, but we don't know if that's Wanda or not.
They're kind of twins.
Yeah.
So younger could be minutes.
Right, true.
As opposed to like a couple of years.
Well, the Fox X-Men universe, they screw everything up.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, High Evolutionary, he's dabbling in their genes somewhere. So who knows? He could have built one in 10 years younger and just kept them in an incubator or something.
Exactly. James Franco's Harry Osborn. I think he nailed that role.
Yeah.
It was I think one of the highlights of that trilogy was their dynamic, Norman Osborn.
Right.
Like they did that really well, and that goes back to we were talking about earlier about grounded. Mm-hmm. As grounded as you. I mean, it's funny to think about a kid who has spider powers, but grounded.
Right.
But that was those Spider-Man movies. At least the first 2 were pretty grounded.
Right.
I mean, he's dealing with issues at school, bullies, and then girl problems, like teenager type shit.
Right.
But he's also Spider-Man.
Right. And he has this dynamic with Harry, like Clark Kent has this dynamic with Lex Luthor. It's like, I have a secret. You're my best friend, but I can't tell you. And then when he finds out, he's like hella mad at him for not telling him. Right. So and it makes you think that if he had told him, maybe he wouldn't have turned into the Green Goblin, or he wouldn't have turned into the Lex Luthor that became the Lex Luthor. Right. So that kind of stuff. So whatever.
And then in the Spider-Man movies, they added he fought Norman Osborn and Norman died. Mm-hmm. So Harry's blaming Spider-Man for the death, and for the good chunk of that second movie, he doesn't know that Peter's Spider-Man. Then he finds out, and then he ends up turning into the Hobgoblin, or version of the Goblin. Right. Which, I mean, Spider-Man 3, dude, that movie is funny because we've seen some bad movies lately, right? Like at the time, that was looked at as a pretty bad movie.
Right.
But I think it's better than a lot of these Spider-Man-less Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man 3.
I agree.
Unfortunately. I mean, I think the issue with that, they just try to stuff too much into it. Like you had the Sandman. I don't know, I forget the actor's name, but he played a pretty good Sandman.
Yeah, I think so.
He had to look down.
Right.
You know who's like a number one on a fan cast list for the Sandman is John Cena, and I think he would pull it off.
Yeah, I agree. He looks like he has that build. John Cena has that build. I mean, I like John Cena as an actor. I mean,
he's entertaining.
He's entertaining.
Yep.
I'll put it that way.
Is John Cena a better actor than The Rock?
No.
I'll say this: Batista is a better actor than both of them.
I agree. Is John Cena better than Vin Diesel?
No. Okay. I don't think so. Batista's Drax, dude, phenomenal. I fucking love Batista from Drax. Like, he is a trip, dude. Like, perfect comic relief. But I mean, it's believable too. Like, Batista embodied that role of Drax. You know, and unfortunately he got to the point where he said, being in his 50s, like, it's too hard to get in shape to be without a shirt for all, like, it's one thing, you know, to put on a super suit with pads, but my man's out there shirtless next to guys who are wearing padded suits who are 10 years younger than him. Right.
And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. Like I said about Hugh Jackman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's played Wolverine for a decade or so, and he has
Two decades.
He has to maintain his physique across all this time. So it gets exhausting when, you know, even in your personal life, the movie's over with. You know, you can't have that hamburger or that pizza because you got to maintain this 2.5% body fat and all this other kind of stuff for 10 years. I mean, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yep. So, yeah, I, as much as I'd love to see Batista continue to play Drax, I get it, dude. You're in your 50s. And it didn't, in Guardians 3, he had, like, the vest on the whole time. It just didn't look right.
Right.
You were used to seeing him, you know, body out, because he was a cool-looking character, too.
But unfortunately, what they are going to do is, even if they bring in they don't kill him off.
Yeah.
If they bring in a new actor or actress, who knows? Might be a female version, all right? They're going to do another origin story, which is going to suck, dude.
Yeah.
Just continue on with a different person.
Correct.
And just call it a day.
Yeah, like, you know, in comics, we've had these same characters for decades, right? Or eons, as you put it earlier. It feels like it, right? And they don't age, really. They do somewhat, but they age at a much slower pace, right? Like, would you rather, instead of rebooting these, you know, comic universes, just recast the characters with younger and continue on with the same story?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're going to have, like, but I also think that they can run parallel. So let's say comic book characters are in their prime. Superman is in his prime. Wonder Woman is prime. Iron Man prime, right? And I'm cool with running two parallel versions.
Okay.
The younger version, their adventures, and how they grew up into this prime version, and then post prime.
Okay.
You know, let's see Superman, you know, when he's like 1,000 years old, right? He's probably not going to look much older, right?
Right.
But he has adventures. Wonder Woman, all these characters. You know, we've seen a lot of Batman when he's older, right? Those are great adventures.
Absolutely.
Right? So he becomes, instead of, you know, he's not the Batman now with the heart condition, which I still don't understand, dude. You got all this money, got all this tech, make an artificial body or something. You know, still
you can't afford a heart transplant.
Right. Still Metallo's body and transfer your shit over into him or something.
Yep.
But, you know, you have the older Bruce Wayne with his adventures. You know, he's got the suit, you know, that can defeat Superman and all this other kind of stuff.
Yep.
Let's, you know, run parallel older versions of these prime characters, and you can do all kinds of stuff, you know, with that, you know. But definitely the main prime character, replace them, move on.
Got it. Moving on, dude. We Respond this week. We Respond, if I can speak right. I got a few that I picked out here. Okay, so one of the longtime fan of the show, Sonsofsekhmet. You know Sonsofsekhmet.
Yep.
He says that I really hope they don't screw up Kraven the Hunter. Such great potential there, and no goofy spandex required.
I could not agree more, dude.
Yeah. Who was our hidden gem last week, right?
Yes.
Well, we talked about this movie, and dude, I'm with Sonsofsekhmet. This is one. Sometimes I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like Madam Web, we knew they were gonna screw it up. Whatever, dude. But this is one that there is a lot of potential here.
Absolutely,
they can do a lot with this movie, and I really hope. I don't know about you, but I hope it builds to a Spider-Man showing up in these movies. I hope this is an origin.
At some point, it would make sense to. I mean, how often? Because I think, like with Madam Web, one of the things that killed it was that they spent so much energy dancing around the Spider-Man component.
Yeah.
That it was nonsensical. It just didn't make sense.
It became distracting
for them to
after a while.
Exactly. So I hope they don't do that with Kraven the Hunter, because this character is awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You know, some grassroots guy, you know, he's like, I'm tired, you know, hunting these beasts. I want some real action. So, you know, lo and behold, all these superpowered villains and heroes are coming up in the world.
Right.
You know, that's my next target, and then he goes after him. So it just so happens that he built this whole psychology around Spider-Man, though.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point where he's like, I can't defeat him, so I'm just going to off myself. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah.
But, and then High Evolutionary steps in with the clones.
Right.
I mean, you got all this stuff. So I agree with Sonsofsekhmet. I hope they don't screw it up. But the trailers look awesome.
It does, yeah. And like I agree, no goofy spandex required.
No goofies and no splits, please.
That Thor split, man, that thing still gets you every day. Do you ever have nightmares about it? Like you're sleeping, and Thor's doing the split, you wake up in cold sweats.
Oh my god. Well, no.
No, okay, that's good.
But it was just ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I mean, but it is that traumatic. If you said yes, I wouldn't be shocked.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this movie. Hope they don't screw it up. And the thing about, I think what makes a good villain is when you can somewhat understand why they're going there. Like, I'm not saying, I think Kraven's ideology is right, but you can understand a big game hunter who has hunted every, big game out there, no problem, and wants to move on. It's almost like, you ever seen that movie The Pest back in the day with John Leguizamo? He's a, it's a comedy. It's hysterical. Basically, he plays a guy, a Puerto Rican dude who, this big game hunter, this crazy rich dude, racist ass guy that hunts all different people. So he hunts people, and he's got their heads like all different races, and the one he didn't have was a Puerto Rican head. So he offers you money to go to his compound or whatever, and if I forget.
Do you know why you going to the compound?
Oh yeah, if you survive, you get a few $1 million or something. Right. So I forget why his character. It's one of those crazy comedies from the '90s, stuff you probably couldn't make today.
Okay.
But anyways, it kind of got that.
The Pest.
The Pest, yeah, dude, it's hysterical. It's one of those it's up there with The Mask, Dumb and Dumb, one of those type of movies. Stupid funny. But anyways,
wait, that's interesting. A game hunting movie of humans, but it's like a comedy.
Oh yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it's funny. We killed all these people, hung them up my wall. Look. So anyway, but yeah, you could, I guess. You could go there where there is someone out there like a Kraven who's hunted big game and they want to move on to some stuff that's a little exotic or illegal,
Right.
But so I guess I understand that plight.
At what point, and clearly I'm not there yet, but at what point does money transform your mind into there is no legal versus illegal?
Yeah.
Where I just do what I want to do. And regardless of the consequence.
I don't know. I ain't reached there yet either. I'll tell you, hey, if Only Comics keeps blowing up, we'll find out.
I'll
tell you, I won't be hunting people, though. I definitely won't be doing that.
Or sending cars into space.
No, I won't be doing that either. Thomas Gaines, 667. There's that 666. They're whoa, easy, Thomas. Calm down, dude. He says, so we did a video, it's probably about a month ago. We were talking about Jonathan Majors.
Yep.
And I said that, Marvel has three options. One, they could recast Kang. Two, they could, and I'm probably screwing up the order here. Two, they could bring Jonathan Majors back. Or three, they could pivot and get rid of the Kang character and move on and bring another big villain in or something, right?
Sure.
So Thomas Gaines over here says, 4, bring in Doom. So we've kind of touched on this before. You have, Doom is that character that could carry a saga, right? Like he could be Thanos level as to, not, power sets, but Thanos level to a story,
right?
To where the whole story revolves around him, because he's interacted with. I mean, I think when you hear Doom, Fantastic Four comes to mind first,
right?
But he's messed with every superhero group out there.
Absolutely,
Avengers, X-Men, everyone knows who Doom is,
right?
I'm assuming you agree with this. Number 4,
absolutely, yeah. I absolutely agree with it.
I mean, Doom is you did him as a hidden gem a while back, early on in the show. But dude, phenomenal villain, and I think he's one of those villains too that walks that line, right? When someone says Doom, do you go villain right away, anti-hero, even anti-villain's kind of a new thing? Like in your mind, where does Doom sit?
Doom to me is up there with Thanos, Apocalypse, Galacticus.
Yep.
Galactus, not Galacticus. Galactus is like anyway, it's not Galactus.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Galactus, he's that person, that personality, that all-consuming. I mean, when this dude steals Silver Surfer's surfboard and then go attack Galactus, I mean, come on, you badass,
right.
dude. When you show up in the middle of the tundra riding a bear, you're a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, and he has the tech, he has the intelligence
right.
and the money to do anything that he wants to. And really, I don't think he's an evil character, and he's one of those characters where you say, I can understand why he does what he does. So I can understand Thanos.
Yeah.
I can understand Doom. I don't get the High Evolutionary.
Right.
The High Evolutionary was just manic. He's like the Joker version of something, just insane. But Doom done properly, Doom done halfway right would be awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because this
just
thing
phenomenal.
Is his people he's trying to protect, right?
Well, first and foremost, humans.
Yeah.
That's his overarching thing. His thing, he's like the protector of Earth, humans and stuff. But definitely his domain, Latveria, right?
Yeah.
So he protects that, and he goes through hell and high water, literally, because of the magic, the dark magic that he also wields.
Yep.
In addition to the technology, so he'll protect anybody, Mephisto, Galactus, but he's also always looking for that next level of power too, and he'll go after that. He'll get it from Galactus. He'll get it from the Fiend. He'll get it from anybody.
We did a review of Secret Wars. Recently, a few months ago, and the newer Secret Wars is where God Emperor Doom. We see that version of Doom, which, dude, that's got to be one of the most badass characters. The God Emperor Doom.
Right.
I mean, he basically creates Battle World and has all these people thinking like this is their reality and forgetting where they came from. And just when he wiped out Thanos, like nothing.
Right. Cyclops with the Phoenix Force.
Yeah, with the Phoenix Force.
Right. It's like, just broke his neck.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you don't need this.
Dude, I mean, God Emperor Doom would solo the Justice League.
However, was it God Emperor Doom or was it Molecule Man behind the scenes?
I think it was a combination. I mean, what's the Molecule Man was fueling, giving him the power, I guess.
Molecule Man was the power, but Doom was definitely the face man. Yeah, and he wielded it well,
Dude, yeah, and it was a cool look too with the white and stuff. Yeah, so I mean, we're getting Secret Wars supposedly. I'd be okay with this. Like as much as I'm on the bring Jonathan Majors back. If they're not going to, I'd prefer bringing a Doom instead of recasting Kang and And I know we're big on the recasting here, but dude, under those circumstances, I'd rather not see him recast.
Right. But also, I mean, I think it's two different things because the Jonathan Majors Kang, it's acting. You see his face, you see his personality. He embodies the character. Yeah. Doom is mostly mask. So now you got to have an actor that can do that level of portrayal, but have his persona project outside of the armor. So I think that'll be a little harder. Yeah. And then to equate the two actors, Jonathan Majors versus whoever plays Doom. Now, the characters themselves, I think, are on par, but the acting, they're going to have to get that right.
Oh, yeah. They got to get their casting right, or they'll end up on an episode of Hit or Miss Cast.
Right. Down there with Madam Web at 12%.
So, yep, Thomas Gaines, we're with you, dude. Dr. Barber here. I don't know if he's really a doctor, but Dr. Barber says, talking about Heath Ledger's Joker, Heath played a great psychopath, but it wasn't Joker. You agree with this guy?
I don't agree.
No.
Joker is a psychopath.
Correct.
We just haven't seen. I don't think they portrayed the layers of his psychosis properly. Right. Now, I do think they in that last animation where he infected Superman with his gas, made him think that Lois Lane was himself. Right. Superman flew him up into space, killed Lois, the baby. Then he nuked Metropolis. Right. That's the Joker that I know. Yes. So there is no level of psychosis that the Joker cannot embody. So this dude is like, I mean, he's just scratching the surface of his, maniacal thinking.
Right. I'm with you. I don't agree with that at all. I think that now, from a look standpoint, did they change the look? Sure.
Sure.
And, there's a big difference here. He doesn't have the, bleached skin from falling into chemicals. He's just putting face, makeup on. He's got the scar. So they changed that. But as far as like who the Joker is chaos. There's really no rhyme or reason outside. And in this whole movie, he was trying to just like destroy the public. Like, I mean, he had the two groups on the boats, remember?
Right.
He had the felons on one boat and then regular people on the other, and he was trying to stir up, these individuals to get one group to kill the other. Chaos. That's what he's looking. I mean, that's literally, I don't know what Joker comics Dr. Barber's reading, but that's right up. That's what he does.
Right.
I thought he was, as far as, yes, they changed the look and the origin a little bit, but as far as how the Joker acts, behaves, the things he does to society and Batman, I think that Joker was right up there. Like, it was pretty on point for comic accurate.
I think most people have not done a deep dive into some of these characters because they can't do the rated R rating or they just now are getting into the rated R rating. I think a lot of people's introduction to these comic book characters is through movies or animations, which they have not portrayed them as they are in the comics.
Right.
So I believe that part of that is why he made that comment.
Yeah.
But Joker is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, great psychopath is like the definition of Joker.
Right.
He's a great psychopath.
Which begs you to ask, why is Batman so attracted? Because they are attracted to each other.
Yeah.
They're definitely like yin and yang, why is Batman so that speaks a lot about, Batman and Batman because, Bruce Wayne is the persona.
Correct.
Batman is the real entity.
Yeah.
So why is Batman so drawn to Joker to the point where, I mean, he knows he's done all this stuff. Even after he killed Lois Lane and the baby and blew up Metropolis, he's still trying to protect him.
Right.
He takes him to Arkham, and then Superman busts in and rips his heart out. So and he's like, "Oh my God, you did!" And then he puts Superman on timeout at the end. So why does he do all that stuff? That speaks a lot about the Batman
he's just
as well.
Messed up.
Oh yeah,
and I think that's the whole thing people don't get about Batman. Like, the new movie, well, ain't new anymore. The Batman gets a lot of critique for the portrayal of Bruce Wayne. Well, he's too emo. He's this. He's that. Dude, Batman is messed up.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't always this. The Bruce Wayne is a character that he plays,
right?
And he didn't always play this, playboy billionaire persona,
right?
That's an act, and I would assume, year 2 after being Batman, he ain't gonna be there yet. So I think it was a more accurate portrayal, but it's like you said, I think sometimes fans see the movie portrayals, and Batman was always goofy, fun. And there ain't nothing fun about Batman. No. He's a dark character.
Yep.
And, now we get to see him portrayed properly because I guess the audience is ready for these more mature, versions, which I'd love to have a rated R Batman movie.
Sure.
We rated R Joker movie. Why can't we get a rated R Batman movie?
I remember it was an animation where there was this guy. He had been captured and he wouldn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And so Superman and Batman shows up. And Robin was there too. So Batman goes over to talk to this guy. He's in handcuffs or whatever. And Superman and Robin are standing back. And Batman leans over and whispers something in his ear. Okay, I'll talk. And Robin's like, what did he say? Superman says, you don't want to know.
Right, yeah.
So that's the Batman, which is the Joker also.
Correct. Oh, yeah, they're parallels to each other, or like you put it, yin and yang. It's a great way to put it, Adrian, yin and yang.
Hey, that's what
if I didn't know any better, I'd say you're a professional.
But I'm not.
But you're not because you had to get your own coffee, and professionals wouldn't get their own coffee. So.
Right.
Next up, a man, Full Metal Beard. So, a little play on Full Metal Band, Full Metal Beard, I guess. I mean, you call you Full Metal Beard with the, the silver you got going on there.
Right.
As, some people do ask, it's not dyed, right?
This is actually Nanites. I can control it and do different things, right?
Yes.
If I it can grab my coffee cup. I won't do it here. Everybody might be shocked.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. So you ever have a situation, Adrian, where you have to over explain something to someone?
Yeah, I just did it several times.
So we were talking last week about Deadpool and Wolverine, and we saw the trailer with Sabertooth. We're going to get a Sabertooth Wolverine fight. And I made a statement that I'm going to have to over-explain now because of people's comments like fullmetalbeard here. I said that we have not yet seen a proper Wolverine Sabertooth fight on screen.
Okay.
And then and it's not just fullmetalbeard. He's just one in the comments because there was a dozen that had a statement along these lines. He goes, they fought at the end of X-Men 1 at the statue. I understand they fought. Okay. So,
and also, didn't you bring that up?
I did bring that up. Okay. And so we had to over-explain. So I saw the movies. Mm-hmm. I have, unlike Madam Web at the end of the movies, I'm not blind. Mm-hmm. I've seen them. I remember them. I've seen them several times. I know that they fought. There's a key word in there, proper.
Right.
When you hear Wolverine, Sabertooth fighting, I don't know about you, Adrian, but I think blood, guts, claws going through flesh.
Absolutely.
I think Sabertooth grabbing Wolverine by the throat and slamming him on the ground several times. Like, I think a brutal fight,
right,
where, Sabertooth's going to bully Wolverine around. Mm-hmm. Wolverine's going to be a little more agile and get him with the claws. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see some blood, and this thing's going to be a mess. Mm-hmm. Even in X-Men Origins, which was a little more graphic with Liv Schreiber, as I learned, to me, that wasn't full-blown Sabertooth, and we didn't get to that level of brutality. So when I say proper, I know they fucking fought in the movie. I seen the damn movie. Proper was the word. Would you agree? And I think you did agree, but just, because we had over-explained sometimes.
To reinforce?
That we've not, and you knew what I meant by proper fight, right? Sure. Is that on point? Do you feel me, Adrian?
I feel you, Mike. So, when Magneto pulled the adamantium out of Wolverine, that was graphic.
Yes.
I mean, you're talking about two beasts here.
Correct.
One that's always in berserker mode.
Yep.
The Sabertooth. Which is why he's always beating Wolverine's ass. And then Wolverine has to be coaxed into his berserker mode, right? Or take a bunch of cocaine. So we have not seen, and definitely, so if you got like imagine two sharks or, two just wild animals going at it, you're going to see some graphic stuff.
Right.
Stuff being ripped off, torn out, things exposed. And the thing about it is, it's like, so imagine, right? Sabertooth guts Wolverine, right? His intestines are falling out. Wolverine has to fight him and stuff his intestines in before his healing factor, seals up the wound with his intestines hanging out. So, we're looking for some carnage here.
Correct.
Literally, not the Spider-Man carnage, but literal carnage between these two characters. And I think that's what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
When you're talking about a proper fight.
A proper. I know. I seen all the, the watered down slap fest that they had. Like the Statue of Liberty one, it was like a dance. Wolverine, the part where the claws go into the crown of the Statue of Liberty and it swipes him around for some reason, doesn't just cut right through it. Like it's like a freaking dance, dude.
Right.
So I don't mean that stupid ass fight. I mean a real one. I want to see Wolverine's claws go right through Sabertooth's chest, and then Sabertooth's, claws as well, go right through Wolverine's face as they're healing and, shredding each other. And that's what I want to see.
Right.
A brutal, bloody fight.
Right. Pull out an esophagus, and just hold it up, punch him, cut a liver out or something.
Exactly.
What happens can Wolverine amputate Sabertooth? What happens if he amputates during a fight and they continue? Right? That's brutal.
Absolutely. Right? Now, does Wolverine and or Sabertooth have that regeneration like Deadpool? So if you were to cut off Sabertooth's arm, would it grow back, or is the healing and regeneration two different powers?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I'm about to look into that. Because Wolverine has had the adamantium for for most of his comic book life.
Yep.
I have never seen. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I've never seen him being amputated.
Yeah,
it's always been gunshots, massive wounds, gapes and so on and so forth, which heal. Right. But no, and Sabertooth just, I haven't seen enough of his adventures, or he has not been in enough adventures where he's been amputated at some level. So I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look into that.
Oh, there you go. Maybe Sabertooth's a future hidden gem,
All right.
So I figured we'd get into a little Sabertooth Wolverine discussion.
Okay.
It's not planned, no rules. I don't know. Just throw out some stuff about these two. Now, I've always been a big Wolverine fan.
Sure.
And to me, like, Sabertooth and Wolverine, they're perfect rivals. They're very similar, too. They almost have the same power set.
Right.
I think, would you agree Sabertooth is stronger?
I definitely stronger, larger,
yeah,
and more savage.
Yes,
I don't think Wolverine could defeat him in a battle. Simply because he's always in his savagery. So I'm assuming that when Wolverine goes into his berserker mode, it's just like that. He's like blacks out. Well, Sabertooth is always in his berserker mode, so he's had more time to condition himself around his attitude per se, so he has more control of it. It'll be, I don't think they would ever portray them in a complete savage fight, because I think people would be disappointed that Sabertooth kicks his ass.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, he is like a bigger, to your point, more savage. And if you remember in the comics, when Magneto removes the adamantium from Wolverine's body, his mutation kind of kicks back in, and he becomes more feral.
Right.
He's got hair growing, and he's hunched over more. And not that he looks similar to Sabertooth, but Sabertooth has always looked more feral than Wolverine.
Right.
He doesn't have the adamantium.
Right.
So, their mutations, they're not identical. They're very similar.
Sure.
So I think when that happened in the comics, we got to see what it would look like if, Wolverine got closer to that savagery that, and I'm sure it's happened, but I'd like to see it when those two versions of the characters fought, the savage Wolverine, the feral one, because he literally started turning into an animal. He's covered in he almost looked, and it wasn't like the eyebrows in the which, come on, like why everything else is cool. Like, I've seen it looks cool, but why the eyebrows got to be so long? I don't know, that's a whole nother thing. But from a power standpoint, they both have the rapid healing.
Right.
They both have slowed aging. They're both actually a lot older, than they look. They're both immune to diseases. So they really almost, I wouldn't say immortal, but like as long as they don't get like their head chopped off or something, they pretty damn immortal, you know. And their enhanced senses. This is one that we've not seen a lot in the movies. You see it a lot in comics, you see it a lot in the animated series, but
Wolverine sniffing doors and stuff like that.
Like he could track people from like, miles away, but you don't see that a lot in the movies. Maybe Hugh Jackman has a weak sense of smell. I don't know. Superhuman strength, stamina, endurance.
Wait a minute. Both of them?
Yeah. Yep. Superhuman strength. It says that. Now. Oh wait. This is Sabertooth.
That's Sabertooth.
Yeah. No. Wolverine as well.
I'm thinking not. Well,
but not as strong as Sabertooth.
Right, because I think Wolverine is like, they call it athletic level, like 800 pounds or something like that. Something along the lines, well, like Captain America with the super soldier serum, he's like 1,000 pounds or 1,200 pounds. Wolverine is probably like 500 to 800 pounds. So he's peak athletic, which, he has, and when people think about Wolverine, they think about, the adamantium and the claws and blah, blah, blah. Sabretooth, he's tossing around cars and stuff, right?
Right.
So it's pretty simple, and I like breaking it down like this. Real simple. Hold his hands behind his back and drown him. That's all you got to do. And he's done. Because he has the strength to hold him. Besides, Sabertooth is what, like 6'4", or something like that? Wolverine is like 5'2", 5'4".
Yep.
Come on, dude. Hold his hand behind his back, drown him.
Right. It's like Tom Cruise fighting The Rock.
Yeah, right. There you go.
But yeah, it does say that Sabertooth is usually portrayed stronger than Wolverine. And then the other thing is the claws, which we've not really seen done right on screen for Sabertooth.
Right.
Like, he has retractable razor sharp claws. They're not like just, long fingernails.
Right.
These things are razor sharp. And I think that's something that I'd like to see done right, because it goes back to that savagery. You get stupid little fingernails, Wolverine can just cut them off. Dude, razor sharp claws, dude, we're talking flesh coming off with every swipe, which we see in the comics a lot.
Right. Like talons.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Not just like some fake fingernails or whatever.
Right. Yeah, not like you just didn't cut your nails for 2 weeks, you know? And then also his teeth. The sharp teeth that we don't really like. I mean, I guess maybe live action, it looks weird to have a man bite another man, but like in the comics.
You do it all the time. Werewolves, right?
Exactly.
And vampires.
There you go.
They always biting on something.
Yep. And it does say that he utilizes more of a brutal and feral fighting style, relying on his animal instincts. So they do have a little, subtle differences in their power sets. They're both skilled hand-to-hand combat. I mean, martial art. It's funny how, like, most characters, most superheroes, they're either genius or they're, like, experts in martial art. Like, there's all black belts. There's no white belts or green. Everyone's just a black belt everywhere.
Right. Well, I mean, to be fair, they do have a training room.
Yeah.
Right. So, and they do have other people they interact with other people that are other characters that are, trained in certain things, like, Black Widow trained from Captain America, Tony Stark, he actually trained as, outside of his suit with Captain America and Black Widow.
Yep.
So there's this cross training. So, I mean, and they have to. So they just sit around, they don't actually work. They're not 1099.
Right.
So the only thing they got to do is train and then, go fight other people, and they survive based off of their training. And then they'll, gang up with other groups. So X-Men plus the Avengers fight some alien horde, right? So there's cross training. So I can understand that. But genius, no,
like,
whole different thing.
He's a genius, and you're a genius, and everyone's a genius, and we're all geniuses. But Wolverine has never been mistaken as a genius. Neither has Sabertooth. No. And there's a lot of like connection with the two. They both were part of the Weapon X program.
Yep.
So they kind of, it's like there's been hints of, and even in X-Men Origins, they portrayed them as like half brothers.
Right.
Like there's been kind of hints of them being either related or closely, connected. And they have a lot of like shared experiences. They both were, traumatized from the Weapon X program, tested on all kinds of shit, right? But dude, Sabertooth, all around is more savage.
Right.
He's
absolutely.
It's so like you mentioned the yin and yang of Batman and Joker, and I think you see a lot of it here too. Like Wolverine cares about the people around him. Sabertooth knows that, and he'll intentionally take out and kill people. Like there's a storyline where Wolverine is with Silver Fox and Sabertooth kills her just to piss off Wolverine, like no other reason.
Right. So is Sabertooth like the Homelander of the Marvel comics?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess if you were
just an asshole.
Hey,
right?
if you were making Wolverine Superman, then yeah, of course. Yeah, he would be, imagine Homelander showed up every year Superman's birthday and kicked shit out of him. Which is something that you mentioned about, Sabertooth and Wolverine. That's an ongoing thing in the comics, right? He comes every year, kicks the shit out of him, beats his ass, or kills someone close to him. Like, hey, happy birthday, motherfucker.
Right. But, they couldn't do that because then Lois Lane would look down on Superman.
Right.
Then start eyeballing Homelander. And then Homelander, like, turns her out. I mean, we have this whole,
He's got
character
another kid
thing.
Now. But yeah, I really like the Wolverine Sabertooth dynamic. It is something that now that they're in this movie, dude, it could be a major part of it, or based off the fact that they're bringing Tyler Mane back, who was almost like a cameo in the first movie. It's probably going to be a small segment of the movie, probably one fight, and they're done.
I would assume so, man, because they got like so much in that movie. And then they have like, what do they call them? The like the hidden nuggets that
all the little Easter eggs.
Yeah, the Easter eggs and stuff. So I'm assuming there's a lot of that also going on. So I would assume this is probably 30 seconds of the movie.
Which is why they showed it to us.
Right.
Another rumor I've heard recently is that there's a Wolverine Hulk fight in this movie, which would be cool. That's a fight. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Wolverine's first appearance in the comics was fighting Hulk.
Right.
And there's an animated movie where they fight.
Yeah.
And we've seen it in the comics. And that's just always been like, I think as fans, we've always wanted to see that on screen.
Sure.
Not the damn smart Hulk with the fucking arm brace. I want to see big old rage, OG
Green Hulk, right.
Yeah, like that'd be badass. Right. Hugh Jackman, Wolverine fighting just that MCU version of the Savage Hulk.
Yeah, but then they have to do like like crazy AI CGI.
Yeah.
Because you got a 6 foot plus Wolverine,
right?
And Hulk is supposed to be like 7+.
Yeah.
So Hulk is supposed to be hulking.
Well, yeah, Thor and Hulk fought in Ragnarok,
right? But Thor is also like a giant guy.
Yeah.
But the original Wolverine is like 5'4" or something, like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That's the there should be like this dramatic difference between the two characters as they're fighting.
So they need to make Hulk look even bigger then. Yeah. But I think they can pull it off. I mean, they've done a good job of Hulk in the MCU. Like that Hulk Thor fight's one of the highlights of the Thor movies. Mm-hmm. So if we get to see something like that with Wolverine, then I'd be all for that.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, Wolverine, Sabertooth, anything else you want to add about these two?
Nah, I like remakes. I think we've kind of exhausted that.
All right, moving on and getting ready to wrap this thing up, Adrian, with a little agree to disagree. And I agree because I asked you, like I think last week, do you like doing this segment at the end? And I think I agree. It's a nice way to send everybody home happy.
That's it.
Or maybe not. Send everyone home upset, depending on where you fall. Now, I had my daughter in and we did agree to disagree, by the way.
Okay.
My 8-year-old daughter handled agree to disagree better than most people online. Can you believe that?
I do.
So here we go. This is where our rapid fire. I got 7 this week, Adrian.
All right, let's do
7 of my opinions. So you out there can't say they're wrong because they're my opinions. I'm not saying they're fact. And then I'm going to see if Adrian agrees or disagree. And if he doesn't, I'm going to get so upset, throw my laptop, and storm out of here. No, that's a joke. See, I had to over-explain. That's a joke, and it's funny because that's what you guys do, and we don't. That's why it's funny.
Gotcha.
So, just in case anyone's confused, they go, he didn't throw the laptop. He lied. No, it's called a joke. So, anyways, I got 7. I'm going to rapid fire them at you. Adrian, you're going to let me know if you agree or disagree. Are you ready?
I will try to rapid fire response back. Let's see.
Yeah, whatever happens. We don't have a lot of rules here on Only Comics, dude. We make them up as we go and change them after we make them up. So
that's it.
All right, ready?
Let's go.
Number 1, The Batman was better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Agree.
Number 2, Flashpoint, the animated movie, was better than The Flash.
Agree.
Number 3, the X-Men have not been done properly yet in live action.
Agree.
Now, I'm not saying, not saying I didn't like the X-Men movies. I'm just saying they weren't done justice.
I think that you've explained that enough to where you can stop tap dancing around these nonsensical people. So explain your stuff. Let's move on, and then ignore them in the comments. I'm thinking
maybe.
We'll
see what happens. I can't make any promises, Adrian. Number 4, Batman Forever. This is the one with Val Kilmer. Okay, Batman Forever is better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Disagree.
Okay, all right. David Cornsweat's Superman suit looks better than Henry Cavill's.
Disagree. Because that's one of those kind of unfair things.
Yep.
Because we've seen the production Henry Cavill Superman suit.
True.
And we're watching Ball Sweat, sitting in a chair. His stuff's all like, it's not fitted. It's not fitted.
Right.
So it would be unfair to say that, I agree or disagree. So once the movie comes out, we can revisit. But for now, I would say I disagree.
Okay. And I'm saying based off of, to your point, based off just these back scene photos, I think it looks better. I like the bright colors. I've the Zack.
Wait a minute, Cavill's wasn't bright. It was bright
muted.
But dark.
Yeah,
kind of.
It was bright, and then it looked like they shot it in Gotham City. Hey, Stan, get out of Metropolis. Go over there, Stan, in Gotham, and then it just gets dark for some reason.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's the rapid fire we're talking about. All right, I got 2 more, Adrian. You ready? We'll hold together. We hold together for the fans.
Let's do it.
Every superhero movie doesn't need to have end-of-universe stakes.
It does not. Look at Daredevil. Look at any of the Hell's Kitchen movies.
Yeah.
Luke Cage.
Right.
Now, let's not include Iron Fist in this. You probably don't want to go there. The Punisher. I mean, any Spider-Man movie, grounded.
Right. So you agree.
I agree.
And last but not least, the best on-screen Joker by leaps and bounds is Heath Ledger.
I agree.
Yeah, we settle that. We all due respect. It's not even close.
Right.
Like, what, Batman, you can argue, right? You go, I like Christian Bale. I like Pattinson. I like, but I'm not really, unless you say George Clooney, I'm really not going to throw a flag on it. I mean, even Val Kilmer, I'm like, it was okay. It wasn't horrible.
You pushing it with the Val Kilmer thing, though. The George Clooney was comical. Yeah. It was a tragedy that they went there with that.
Yep.
You know, it's almost like they try to make it a comedy. And, you know, if you're going to make it a you might as well label it like they're doing with Joaquin Phoenix's shit, you know, a musical.
Yeah, yeah.
They should have said, okay, this is a comedy,
right? Not
a typical Batman thing. So that was a travesty.
Or say this is going to be a complete joke. How about that?
Exactly.
But I think with Joker, as much as Jack Nicholson was good, but it's there's a it's not close at all. You know, it's like going back and forth about Superman. You can make a case for Henry Cavill.
Sure.
I mean, you're gonna bring in Christopher Reeves. There's your guy Brandon Routh. I think.
Right.
But with Joker, there's a huge gap there. Jared Leto doesn't even enter the conversation, and Joaquin Phoenix. So you want to say, he didn't play the Joker. He played a great psychopath. Joaquin Phoenix didn't play the Joker.
Right.
He played a crazy ass dude who jumps in the fridge. Like that's not the Joker, dude. I've never seen the Joker jump in a refrigerator in the comics. Have you? What comic book did they get that out of? It's like the whole movie, they just want to remind you that he's crazy. Like, hey, by the way, he's crazy. Look at him. Now, he's contorting himself for some reason. He hasn't eaten in 6 weeks. Right. And now he has no food. He's not eating, but for some reason he's jumping in the refrigerator. I don't know.
Well, explain that along the lines of the last Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just... that was nonsense.
Oh my God.
That was absolute nonsense.
Yep, absolutely. So anyways, well, there you have it. Agree to disagree. You guys sound off. Let us know what you think. And, I know Adrian's requesting and asking me not to feed into the shenanigans, but, I can't make any promises.
You know what? Just do it. Just do it. Whatever.
There we go.
That's the fun with Mike and Adrian
that's
part.
it, And then maybe next week I'll be like, fuck that. I'm not saying anything about anyone. You just never know what you're going to get here. I think that's a good tag. You never know what you're going to get on
Exactly.
Comics. But I will promise you this. You will be entertained.
You will be entertained.
Because it's fun with Mike and Adrian.
There you go.
Well, Adrian, thanks for coming out, dude.
Always, man.
Rocking the Justice League swag this week.
That's it.
You're not a DC Justice League hater. You got all the swag on today.
Nah. They just they need to,
do something.
Do something.
Yeah.
Something.
Now,
anything.
Earlier you were talking about having two versions of a character on screen at once.
Right.
Which DC is going to have pretty soon because they have my boy Pattinson, the best live action Batman ever, right?
Okay.
His story, he's getting ready to come out with a second movie, and there's a trilogy. Then there's Batman Brave and the Bold, which is in the DCU, part of their same continuity as this new Superman movie. That's going to be an older Batman with a Bat family already established. So it's not the same character and storyline, but you're going to see a young Batman and an older Batman at the same time. So you're cool with that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right. Well, you guys, DC, you got Adrian's okay. So
there you go.
can proceed. Well, thanks for coming out, dude. As always, guys, thanks for watching, tuning in. If you've not already, hit the subscribe button. Share this with your friends. A great 4th of July gift, right? Independence Day. I mean, we're free. We're able to come here and do this podcast. I guess. So, anyways, thanks for joining us.
Go to the Only Comic store, get some merch.
There you go. OnlyComicsMerch.com. You can get that mug right there, this hat, this shirt, all kinds of stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Check us out. We'll see you soon. You know where to find us every week right here on Only Comics. We'll see you next week.